conceptual perspective to things. People talk about a desire to be successful. All of the elements they think: intelligence, expertise. Hey, how much am I willing to give up and commitment, and are not committed to the struggle, acquiescing to the struggle, they're committed. Good morning, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. I hope that everybody is in a good place. I hope that you've gotten off to a great start, that you're prepared to take hold of the reins of your personal sovereignty and pursue the things that matter to you. I'm not here to tell you what's important, because success is defined, as far as I'm concerned, by the active and effective pursuit of something that is worthwhile. When you are in pursuit of a worthwhile goal and you are making progress, you are experiencing success in increments and gradually. It is not simply the attainment of the goal, but the work and the progression that leads to the goal. If you're working hard, you're experiencing success every day. You may have some setbacks. You may have some momentary failures. That's a part of the process. Failure is not final until you quit. And so it's extremely important to understand that you need to learn how to celebrate yourself daily. Not just when you hit the 90-day goal, not just when you hit the 6-month and the year goal, but every time that you take a step and you make a move. Good morning, everybody. Every time you take a step and you make a move and you make progress, that's a reason to celebrate, because that's success. It is the successful pursuit of a worthy goal. It can't be defined by anyone but you, because you determine what's worthy of your pursuit. And for each person, it's different. Success financially is different for every person. Success in relationships is going to be different for every person. Success in business obviously begins with profitability, but it has to be so much more, because it's not simply about making the money. You have to have a profitable company in order to continue to do what it is you do that you love doing, that helps other people. Now, are you helping people? Are you consistently doing it? Are you expanding your reach and your impact, and in the process being profitable? Now, where that lines up is going to be determined by you. What are you seeing? What are you pursuing? But it is the successful pursuit of a worthy goal. And that's my paraphrase of what I learned as a kid from listening to LPs of Earl Nightingale. And I just always kept it, because I don't believe that there is a one-size-fits-all definition of what success means. And so it has to be defined from within, because it's about you fulfilling yourself, fulfilling your destiny, fulfilling your purpose. And so that's that. Don't forget that you can get the link to get Critical Mass and to order book number 21. You can actually get them in a bundle or get them individually. The link is in the description box, no matter what platform you're going to be watching this video on. Also, if you want to work with yours truly, there's a short questionnaire. Complete the questionnaire, send it in to the designated email, and the support team will get back to you to schedule an appointment for me. And this first breakthrough session is on me. It's not going to cost you anything but time and an investment of an intent to achieve something. That's it. That's all I'm asking for you. For 30 minutes, give me 30 minutes of your time, and you come prepared to do something extraordinary. That's it. Okay, let's get started, because I want to get this done, and there's a lot more to do today, but I want to get this done. Today is Mindful Tuesday. We're talking about being mindful of how we're thinking, being mindful of how we're speaking, being mindful of how we're moving, being mindful of the dynamic we're operating in, the environment we're operating in, the people we're engaged with, but being very mindful of what we're doing. But most importantly, be mindful of your intent, because your intent sets the gauge, it sets the direction, it sets the atmosphere. So we want to be mindful of our intent, but we also have to be mindful of some things that may be in the way. We have to be mindful of our obstacles and opposition and everything else. So that is extremely important. that we be mindful. I want to talk to you today about why so many people have an idea of what they want, but very few are effectively and successfully pursuing it. There's this thing called fear. I once heard someone say that when you travel to the inside, to the center of fear, you find that there's absolutely nothing there but fear feeding on itself. And the more you let fear run, the bigger it gets, the stronger it gets, the more powerful it gets, the more influential in your life it gets. It begins to control you. You have to take hold of fear. You have to act of fear. There has to be some force inside of your life that drives you beyond fear. And then in time, I've learned that if you have a force driving you that's greater than the fear, you eventually redefine the fear, and the fear stops being fear and starts being excitement. Why? Because you learn that every time you push past the fear, there's something greater on the other side. I believe Will Smith said that he believes that God placed everything worth having on the other side of fear. I can go along with that. I believe that, and I've learned personally, and I've also learned with the many people that I've worked with personally, that when we get past the fear is when things happen. But most people are stymied by fear. Procrastination, the number one cause of procrastination is fear. Fear of failure, fear of what people are going to say, fear of the uncertain. All of those things are causing people to sit when they know there's work to be done, there's a step to be taken, there's something that has to come about, but nobody's moving on it. It's because of fear. Well, how, Rick, how in the world do you get past fear? Well, number one is I've made it a point that I don't pursue anything that the reward isn't greater than the fear. Let me say it another way. Your dream, your vision, your desires and aspirations have to be, your why has to be bigger than your fear. The only way that you're going to ever break free of being controlled by fear is by moving towards something that's bigger than it is. And when you have that thing that's bigger, you're going to look at it and you're going to take a measurement. You're going to count the cost of taking the action. That I might fall, I might get embarrassed, I might get laughed at, I might get a setback, I may lose some of my money, I may lose all of my money. But if I get through this, if I can get through this, I'm going to achieve a new status in life that I've never experienced before. I'm going to have a new level of influence in the world around me that I've never experienced before. I'm going to have an impact that's so much greater than anything I've ever thought of before. I have to get on the other side of fear. And when you have a dream that's bigger than the fear, nothing's going to shut you down. Absolutely nothing is going to shut you down when the dream is bigger than the fear, because the fear is what's got you in a holding pattern. You got to sit up and say, you know what? I'm going to take the risk. See, you can't be risk averse in pursuit of something great, because something great comes with a certain amount of risk. It means you got to put skin in the game. See, it's not faith if there's no skin in the game. If you know you're going to win and there's no chance of losing, that doesn't require faith. That's a result of reason. You've added 1 + 1 and 4 + 4, and you've come up with the sum total of the equation, and it tells you if I simply do A, B, C, and D, it's an automatic. That's not that doesn't have a requisite of faith. That's a requisite of execution. It means I simply do it. You're going to have a lot of things in your life that you simply have to execute. But when it comes down to the greater things, you're going to find that it's not about skill, it's not about talent, it's about stamina. And the stamina says that I'm going to go in this thing, I'm going to get punched sometimes, I'm going to get hit sometimes, I'm going to get knocked down and kicked sometimes. I'm going to have people laughing at me sometimes. I'm going to have people telling me, I thought you were. What happened? What happened? You said you were. And you're going to have to be able to stay the course and know they're counting you out, but you're not finished yet. That is what it takes. Now, I remember the Rumble in the Jungle. And I was reminded of this with my morning motivational moment this morning, where I'm looking and I'm studying and I'm reading, and I was reminded of it. And I remember Rumble in the Jungle. This is when Muhammad Ali, after being exiled from boxing for a while, came back to fight George Foreman, who was the champ. And I watched the documentary on this, and probably everybody in the world saw the movie Ali with Will Smith in it. But I'm talking about, I saw the actual documentary where this guy went over and trained in Africa and literally became literally just beloved by the people in the country, and they followed him everywhere he went. He became in love, and he would walk in the room, and George Foreman was the champion, but he would walk in the room, the champ is here, the champ is here, and you could just tell he was just, I mean, and he talking about believing. This guy wasn't the best he had ever been at this time, and that's what people don't get. The Ali before the exile was more skilled. The Ali before the exile was much faster. The Ali before the exile was in unbelievable shape. Not that this guy wasn't, but he was still not 100% the guy that was pushed out of boxing because he refused to go to the war, go fight in the war. But he came back. But he had something that you cannot measure, heart. And I remember watching this fight. You know, as a kid, I couldn't remember much of it, but I've watched it many times since. And when you watch this fight, George Foreman was known to be an unbelievable puncher. He literally beat the crap out of Joe Frazier. I mean, he was a hard hitter. That same heavy-handedness is what allowed him to come back in his late 40s up into 50s and actually win a title again, because he could simply just punch. You get hit, you hurt. And so he's in there, and for 7 rounds, he's just punching Ali with everything he has, and he's landing, he's hitting, and he's swinging. And then there's a point where you see him where Ali reaches out and grabs him, embraces, and then they finally talk about this, you know, before Ali got to the point where he couldn't talk. They talked about this, and George Foreman says, when he pulled me into him, he leaned over in my ear and asked me, "Is that all you got? Is that all you got?" He said, and after that, I wasn't the same. It just went away. And Ali said, when I asked him that, I looked in his eyes and life left. I knew I had it. I knew I had. Just imagine you punched, and you're known for knocking people out, and you've given this person everything you got, and they ask you, "Is that all you got?" But see, that's what you got to be willing to ask life. Is that all you got? You know, you're going to take some gut shots. You're going to take some head shots. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to get thrown back. You're going to get thrown to the ground. You're going to get stepped on and kicked. I'm sorry, if you're looking for a smooth path to greatness, it does not exist. You're going to have to fight through the difficulty. You're going to have to push through the setbacks and disappointments and frustrations. You're going to have to deal with the fact that a bunch of people that you're doing it for don't even believe in you. You're going to have to go through a bunch of stuff to get where you're going. But you got to stand up, square your shoulders, and ask life, is that all you got? Because it's not going to be about your talent. It's not going to be about your skills. It's not going to be about your planning and your strategies. At the end of the day, winners are those who have the stamina to keep pushing through. You're going to have the stamina to push through some difficult moments, some moments in which you can't even see the outcome, but you have enough faith in your purpose and in your design that you refuse to relent. A bunch of you are failing right now because you're treating your calling, your purpose, your destiny, your vision, your dream as if it were your job instead of the very essence of who you are, the very essence of your existence, the very being that represents and defines you. See, your calling isn't a job, it's your work. There's a difference. Your destiny isn't your job, it's your work. See, there's a difference between your work and your job. Your job is something you show up to get paid for. Your work is something that you will do absolutely free if given the opportunity. You may get paid for it, but the pay is a secondary or ancillary benefit to being inside of your purpose and your passion. But a bunch of you are treating the vision as if it were a job or a hobby. And you're wondering why you're stuck, because you're playing it safe. You're stuck into your corner of comfort. You're trying to ride the tide instead of blazing the trail. There is something unique and powerful about perseverance. I tell people all the time, I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was sharing one of my favorite quotes from a movie. I love movie quotes that have meaning that you can take and apply and it just sticks. One of my favorites is from the movie Wallace, about the Bondurant brothers who ran moonshine. And the younger brother wasn't as tough as the older brothers, and the younger brother got beat up real bad and almost killed, cousin killed. And the toughest of the brothers, the middle brother, asked him, "What are you going to do about it?" And he begins to talk. "I'm not like you. I'm not tough like you and Howard. I can't do it. I'm not tough. I don't know what to do." And he walks over to him and he says, "It's not the violence that sets a man apart. It's the distance he's prepared to go." It is the distance. If you're willing to go the distance, there's absolutely nothing that can stop you. See, your movement isn't predicated on getting everything to go your way. Your movement isn't predicated on having everybody behind your back. Your movement isn't predicated on everybody loving and liking and supporting you. Your movement is predicated on, I've started something and I'm either going to get it or I'm going to die trying. I'm going the distance. If I get knocked down, I'm going to get back up. I'm going the distance. If people get in my way and push me down, I'm going the distance. If I get tripped up and I fall by my own mistakes and decisions, I'm going to get back up because I'm going the distance. I'm not going to stop until I get it, and that's all it is to it. There's nothing to me more satisfying than knowing that there are people around me that think I'm stupid and don't know that they are wishing and praying and hoping for my demise. And I've been asked, even by my wife, "Why do you keep them around?" Well, let me tell you, whether you believe in the Bible, all that doesn't matter. But what does it say in Psalms? That God is going to prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. These clowns about to watch me eat. And it's nothing more satisfying than to look in the eyes of somebody that just knew you were going to fail and watch all the joy just leak out because you did. That's stamina. That's heart. That's fortitude. The only way you can stop me is to take me out completely. The only way to stop me is to kill me. And I heard Eric Thomas say this today. But even then, if I die today, I've done enough that my legacy will speak of me long after I'm gone. The message has already been written. The message has already been spoken. It actually will become more powerful when I die. You can't stop me. This train is bound for its destination, and there's absolutely nothing anyone can do about it. It's set. The dream is bigger than the fear until the fear has become excitement and anticipation. Mindfulness. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. They want to write you off, but you got a pen. You're writing the narrative. You're writing the story. Every decision you make is writing a chapter. You're in control. You have the reins of your personal sovereignty. Nobody has the power to write your story but you. And if you've given someone the pen, take it back. Stop treating your vision and your dream as if it was simply a job. Jobs you quit from, jobs you get fired from, jobs end, your work goes with you until the day you die. Start living in and doing your work. God designed you for work, not just a job, but there is something you are designed for. And most of us are not living at the level of our design. Time to level up. Time to level up. Get excited. Get excited. I'm going to close real easy on this one today. Live life at the level of your design. Don't let nobody talk you out of your purpose. Don't let nobody sit up and diminish your capacity through the whispering of sweet nothings of negativity in your ear. Don't get caught up in the random opinion of minimal-minded people. Look inside of yourself and see the greatness that God placed there. And then decide that I'm going to finish everything I've started. I will not take my potential to the grave. It was Dr. Miles Monroe who said that the cemetery is the wealthiest place on the planet because you got unfulfilled dreams, books not written, inventions not created, companies not started, relationships not cultivated. Just a bunch of potential that died with the person because they refused to activate it and actualize it. Don't let that be you. As I always say, I'm going to live my life on full so that when I leave this place, I die on E. I'm going to challenge you to do the same thing. Live your life on full and die on E. On that note, I'm out of here. Peace. Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here. First of all, I want to apologize for the little hiccup earlier. I was actually scheduled to be on another platform to deliver a brief lesson, and actually logged on to do Money Monday right at the time I needed to be there. So I had to get off quickly and get over there. So I definitely apologize for that. There may be a few technical glitches going on right now. Unfortunately, things happen that are out of your control. We try to be as prepared as possible. We try to keep our equipment updated, but it is what it is. So here we are. We're on Money Monday. I haven't done a Money Monday in a while. It's been a lot going on. Like I say, it's a pretty busy day for me as far as clients are concerned and other obligations that I actually have to honor. And so it's been tight, but I decided that starting today, we're going to get back into it. And I'm going to start out with something that's very simple, but immensely powerful. It is highly underrated and maligned by many. But if you don't get this right, you don't get anything, period. You know, we can talk about wealth. We can talk about revenue generation. We can talk about all the things that go into getting money. And understanding the dynamic of money is important. Understanding what money is and what it represents and where it fits into the total economic structure and the development of wealth, which should be your goal, is to create generational wealth so that you can sustain your lineage moving forward throughout time. It's about being prepared. It's about relieving an entire issue from the scope. I mean, you're going to have cash flow problems. Trust me, as a person who owns multiple businesses, as a person who deals with the area of finance in teaching, in taking action and experience and work, cash flow problems happen. It just is. So you have to be prepared for that. But there's a difference in a cash flow problem with a person who has accumulated assets versus a cash flow problem from a person who simply does not have access to anything to produce the cash. Well, how does all this take place? Well, the truth of the matter is there is a simple, very simple, but highly powerful truth. And that is, you have to get rid of the poverty mindset if you ever want to experience wealth. And people who have poverty mindsets think differently than people who build wealth. It's that simple. And what we think produces our reality. We talk about it all the time, but we never put all the dots and the X's and O's together to actually look at it and see. If I don't change my thinking, I'm never going to really totally change my reality. Even if I some kind of way fall into a lump sum of money, i.e. the lottery, if I don't have a mindset that is built around wealth building, if I still have a poverty mindset, I'm going to misallocate the money I have. See, I tell people all the time, money isn't about the generation as much as it is about the management. And people don't get that. I see people all the time, why do you focus so much on financial literacy? Because understanding money, understanding and thinking how the wealthy think will change your situation no matter how much current cash flow you have. See, everybody thinks that you have to generate a lot of money in order to start building wealth. The truth of the matter is you have to think wealth and you will automatically start to build and generate it. It's a slow process at start if you don't have the money to throw in anything heavily, but it's possible. When I say get rid of the poverty mindset, I mean get rid of the thinking. Like, poor people think that you establish your sense of wealth by buying things that don't appreciate. In other words, purchasing liabilities that give the outward impression of being rich is not how you build wealth. It's how you blow opportunities to build wealth. See, if I'm putting my money into something that does not appreciate, or at least at the very minimum hold its value, then I'm literally diminishing my opportunities, because if I'm spending currency in the form of cash or in the form of digital currency in the bank or whatever, I'm spending currency, then the currency has a value based on whatever the market is saying at the time. So if I spend $100 on something, and then that thing I spend it on depreciates in value to $50 in total value, I've just thrown away $50. I've got $50 in limited negotiable, in a limited negotiable entity in whatever it is I purchased, meaning that if I work hard and find a way to sell it, I can sell it for $50, but I spent $100 on it. So I threw 50 away. That's a poverty mindset. I'm going to buy stuff that looks good. I'm going to buy me a car that I can't afford, so I'm going to go in debt to get it. I'm going to buy this watch that tells the same kind of time. I'm going to buy this $5,000 watch that tells the same kind of time as the $50 watch. Now, as soon as I buy it and walk out of the store, it's going to depreciate about 25 to 30%, meaning that if I walk right back in and try to sell it, they're not going to buy it for what they sold it to me for.
From a conceptual perspective, people talk about it, all of the elements they think, intelligence, expertise. Hey, how much am I willing to give up and commitment? And are not committed to the struggle, acquiescing to the struggle, they're committed